young ones. It was the best presentation. Every single line is beautiful. Every single drawing is beautiful. And those creativities help us identify who we are, where we are, and we're off to next. It's a beautiful journey based on love. Like Sam said yesterday, all we need is love. I now invite the IFCO board member, Kerry, to close off the, to do her part. Yeah, and then the President, Her Excellency, to close off the IFCO conference.
Your Excellency, honoured guests, delegates, family, because you guys are part of the IFCO family now. There's no escaping, sorry, that's part of the contract. And of course friends. Firstly, I want to thank you all for contributing your time and your expertise and your experiences to our 2017 Global Conference. I worked closely with John Rowe and the conference partners over the last year to make sure that this conference was yet another amazing, successful conference, and I hope you all agree that it's been a massive, massive success. I've been with the youth, and I love doing that, but I also know that the main kind of adult track has gone really amazing too. I know I ran a workshop there too. So I want to talk about the journey that comes from an IFCO conference. I really believe that it provides a community, a feeling of togetherness, shared experience and expertise from around the world, but also from so many different areas. So we have young people in care, we have care leavers, we have foster parents, we have researchers, we have social workers, we have policymakers, all coming together, and that's so important. And it's why IFCO is such a success, because we bring all of those different partners together. And of course, the aim of the conference this year, giving children the confidence to move forwards with a safe and permanent relationship. And I really do hope that the work that we've done with the young people, the children and the youth tracks has given them the ability to start on that journey, to know that they now have real, safe and permanent relationships to move forward in life. For the speakers, I would like to invite you to contribute to the book of proceedings that we're going to create for last year's in Sheffield, UK, that we hosted, and this year's book of proceedings. So we will be in touch with you after the conference about that. If you want to contribute your workshop or plenaries, we can do that. So as part of the youth track, we gave each of our youth a small gift, which was a happiness pack. And I'd like to read to you what was in this pack, because I really want you guys to feel that too as you leave this conference. So we included a candle to light your way when you're feeling lost, a star to wish upon, a string to hold you together when times are tough, a penny so you're never completely broke. And I also said to the youth that in England, if you see a penny, you say, find a penny, pick it up, and all that day you'll have good luck. So they've got luck with them. A paper clip to make you feel organised. I think many of the organisers today, we definitely needed that. Elastic band for when you feel stretched to the limit. An eraser to help you erase any mistakes you make. And a heart so you know that you're always loved. So I have a few of these that I would like to actually hand out to our conference partners. So if someone from the National Foster Care Association for Malta could come up and pick up your happiness pack. The President's Foundation for Wellbeing of Society. Come on. Eurochild. Do we? Oh. Oh, okay. Oh, is someone? Okay. Someone's coming. It's great. And of course, the Foundation for Social Welfare Services. And then I have an extra two because I'm going to pull out a couple of people who just deserve a little bit of extra thank you. Bernard, where have you gone? There you are. Come on, stop hiding. This guy has been great. And Elaine, I wouldn't let you come up before because you've actually got one of your own as well. I made Elaine cry with my plenary last year, so that's why we're here now. So I just want to close by saying that we wish you a safe journey home, and we hope to see you again at our next conference. And thank you from all of the IFCO board and the IFCO family. Thank you.
I now invite Her Excellency, the President of Malta, for her closing speech.
Permit me, before I come to my closing remarks, to say some thank yous, but I will not indulge into names because I will definitely miss out on many important names. So first of all, I would like to thank Ruth, my soulmate, and her team, all the wonderful members of the team. I must tell them publicly, it's the very first time that without Ruth and the people at the foundation, these beautiful 14 people at the core team, my life in the presidency would have been very sad and lonely. They give me life. True, this is true. To IFCO for giving us this very important opportunity to reinvigorate ourselves, to work harder, even harder, to give what we believe in wholeheartedly, a voice to our children as they deserve. To the Malta Association of Foster Care, I must say a big thank you to you for having, well, worked so hard during the years. I remember a time, and I wish John Roulet was here, because John Roulet, I consider him as the father of foster care in Malta. I was then, when John Roulet, like 20 years ago, it could be 20 or slightly more or slightly less, started speaking of foster care in Malta. It was something really new, very new. And at the time I was Shadow Minister of Social Policy. And I remember John Roulet lobbying, networking, trying to network with everyone to make us acknowledge foster care in this country. And well, it wasn't easy for the first foster parents, carers at the time. So I can see what great endeavors and how much you've come along as Association of Foster Care. So I must thank you for endeavoring at times when many people could not see what fostering was all about. And you took on board this role. Then all the other stakeholders and collaborators in this conference. This was truly a wonderful opportunity, a wonderful experience which will stay with us for a very, 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 very long time. And now to my final remarks, and I will be reading my final remarks because I will be doing some commitments and I don't want to skip on any of them. Well, it was truly a pleasure to share some thoughts at the close of this year's Global IFCO conference. and the 3rd National Conference on Child Wellbeing in Malta. I am proud that this conference has welcomed the participation of professionals, academics, practitioners, and in particular, young people and children from so many countries. I am pleased to note that everybody in this room is united for one common important cause. If there is anything that I can vouch for, it is that we are surely united by a shared passion and a steadfast commitment to ensure that all children, no matter who they are or where they come from, have the opportunity to be raised with loving and nurturing families. So many people have participated in this conference in their different capacities, whether as carers, as policymakers, and as committed individuals. We are all working in various fields. However, we are all dedicated to continue with our efforts to give our children the very best, and especially to accede to their rights, which are, after all, fundamental human rights. After listening to our children and young people in the safe spaces this conference has created, I am even more convinced that we need to ensure that our children have the very best opportunities for care, support, and protection, which we and our authorities must continue to provide. The collective discussions which have taken place over the last few days are already embedded in our international legal obligations, which are set out by the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child. We adults and our authorities should know better, because we have known all along what needs to be done in order to implement the CRC and its focus on the inherent dignity of each and every child. Let me remind us all what the preamble of this essential document says, and I will quote: "The child, for the full and harmonious development of his or her personality, should grow up in a family environment, in an atmosphere of happiness, love, and understanding." I feel so proud that my foundation for the well-being of society strives to promote and to nurture the sense of full and harmonious development through its focus on the well-being of all citizens at a familial, communal, and a national level. The well-being of children is central to our work. We celebrate their amazing potential and the extent to which our children are able to thrive when they are rooted in permanent, stable, and nurturing home environments. It is for this reason that our children must be empowered by processes of meaningful and inclusive participation, by creating safe spaces in which to feel free to share their aspirations. The narratives shared over the past few days by our children and young people themselves have convinced me even more to further commit ourselves to work harder to convince our authorities that children's aspirations must be at the heart of all our legislation and policy in the sector. Our children must be our advocates for change. I am also so pleased to know that such safe spaces of safety and active inclusion were provided by IFCO and the team of the President's Foundation during this conference. I'm so happy to have had the opportunity to visit and meet the children and young people who had programs which we could see that ran parallel with the proceedings of this conference. I am even more pleased that I've had the opportunity to hear feedback from the children and young people themselves about their experiences. It has been one big learning curve for them, but even more so for us. They are our guiding light to further commit ourselves to bring about the much needed changes in our societies to ensure that no child or young person is ever left on their own. Now we must seriously act upon their contributions. We must learn from their lived experiences of care and courageously respond to the lacunae and challenges that they have identified. We must acknowledge that children and young people are best champions for change. During these days of consultation with children, a series of statements and questions were formulated by the children themselves, as we had seen. The children very clearly said that the love of a family is the most important and fundamental environment in their lives. Children clearly stressed that they feel that they all deserve to have a good and safe home. Children clearly said that they should not be ignored. Children are very much aware that it is their right to be heard and that they need more protection from authorities. They asked the question, and I quote, "How can you help us?" This conference is posing a very direct question, and we must find the courage to answer it. How are we going to respond to the direct call for action on behalf of our young children, young people and children? Moreover, during my consultation session earlier today with our young people, I discovered just how powerful their experiences were. Emotionally and intellectually, these young people showed just how courageous they are by reaching out to make new friends and to learn new things from their peers and the facilitators from IFCO and my foundation. One 17-year-old girl said, "It's not every day that you meet people who share your same experience." This is the sense of solidarity which has come out most strongly, and the life-changing sense of support that these young people have derived from the friendships and connections that they have made. I believe we must continue to strengthen this sense of connection. Children who have been through challenges in their upbringing must never feel alone or isolated, but must feel able to reach out and make new and permanent relationships with others. It is essential for us to keep providing safe and non-judgmental spaces, such as those that have been created during this conference, where children and young people could speak their minds and freely express the experiences that they have lived or are living each day of their lives. We must act upon this feedback and ensure that our children and our young people are flourishing in the fullness of their dignity. We must ensure that they are developing as active citizens who know that their voices are valued and respected, and that their contribution will lead to meaningful change in their own lives and in the lives of others. For this reason, as an immediate response to the consultation session I had with our young people today, I will open further San Anton Palace for children and young people living in care facilitated by my foundation for the well-being of society, together with their carers. And I call for help, because the core team at the foundation are inundated with a lot of very important and positive work. So I call for volunteers to come over and help us. Volunteers who we will train, because we need to train. Even myself, I'm always very careful how I interact and I ask and consult, so that we can truly provide more safe spaces for our children and young people. This will ensure that our that the work we have begun during this conference continues to grow, and the relationships formed during this conference remain connected. The empowerment that our young people have received during this IFCO conference is giving them strength to reach out and help others as powerful activists for change in their own right. I must also take some time to echo the statements which were made by some of the participants during this conference. I'm especially pleased with the intervention of the Honorable Falzon, Minister for Family, Children's Rights and Social Solidarity, especially his public commitment to launch a children's policy and the Children's Act, which will appear early next year. Let me also mention the contributions of Dr. Daniela Zerafa, who's a foster carer, a social worker, and social work lecturer at the University of Malta. Dr. Zerafa highlighted the essential need for swifter decision-making across all processes of care. Legislation and policy must work hand in hand, seamlessly woven together to provide the best opportunities to each and every child. This must be upheld always and in all ways by our mandate for the protection of children enshrined in the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child. Thursday's keynote contribution by Professor Kevin Brown from the University of Nottingham also highlighted some essential points regarding the severe challenges posed by institutional care. Professor Brown explained that young children who are institutionalized before 6 months are shown to suffer long-term developmental delay, and they are 3 times more likely to be maltreated compared to family-based care. On the other hand, those who are placed in a caring family environment by the age of 24 months catch up on their physical and intellectual development. We cannot allow our children to be held back, nor can we accept that their essential right to a loving family environment is ignored. Research is clear about the difficult realities faced by children whose upbringing is not rooted in environments that are filled with love and stability. Indeed, in instances where systems of care break down or do not meet the child's specific needs, a higher risk of trauma prevails in an already difficult situation. This is all the more reason for us to keep holding our authorities accountable, to do the very best that is possible for all of our children and young people. On concluding, let me say that I, again, reiterate, I feel so proud that my Foundation for the Wellbeing of Society has given its support to the International Foster Care Organization and the National Foster Care Association in Malta in order to make this conference a reality. Working also in partnership with Eurochild and the Foundation for Social Welfare Services, our organizations, I believe, have become stronger from being united in our mutual goal of protecting children and promoting child well-being. I am convinced that when our strengths meet, we can become a powerful force for social change. Let us therefore continue to incorporate the active voices of our children and young people in all the process of social transformation. As I'm sure that all of us here believe, children's rights are human rights, and we must never forget that. Let me conclude by appealing for more Maltese families to come forward and offer safe and loving environments to children and young people in need of support. Let us also work together to end the cycles of stigma and shame that children and young people are made to feel due to the closed-mindedness and prejudice. I believe, and truly this is final, I believe that pursuing justice for our children and young people is a key component to build societies which truly live up to their obligation, that is to thrive for social justice for the benefit of all. Thank you.